and this segues really nicely into our next topic, which I want to talk to you about money. Because I feel like there's so much talk about money, and it's such a big thing in our lives. But we have to understand that money is not the most important things in our lives, right? So my question to you would be, how do you view money? Like, how important do you think money is in everyone's or your lives in particular in relation to health, relationships, your mental well-being, your happiness, joy? How important is money, and how does it relate in those aspects?
I think money is very important in the sense where it's a means to get what you need. It's not something that you should collect and just thinking because I have a lot of money, I am better than other people. You can't attribute you having a lot of money to you being better than other people.
Yeah.
Like that's very prideful and very egotistical. That shouldn't be the case because you can have a lot of money, but like you as a core person can still be terrible, or you don't have the relationships, or you're not in a position where you're healthy. Because you can put money above all those things until hey, you get ill. So then health becomes on top of money.
Priority, yeah.
Your spouse breaks up with you, then your relationship gets put on top of money, and then you go into depression, then your mental health gets put on top of money. So there's many things where money is important. You got to use it, and it's going to be a staple within our lives. You have to use it, and you have to strive for it in a sense to be able to get successful. But having a lot of money shouldn't be the end goal for your success. It should be the relationships you form, how you feel as a person, as well as the memories and the teachings that you leave with other people. I think that's a big thing.
What was my definition of money? So my definition of money changed when that happened, because I was now thinking, okay, health is should be my number one priority above money, but money is just a means of a tool, right? Money itself has no
No value, bro.
no value.
No
Like, I can't be like, this is $50. I'm an amazing speaker, right? It is just a means of a tool for an exchange, because money is, in a sense, as well, currency.
Yeah.
It's just an exchange of things. You have $50. $50 will buy you this much. I get $50 worth of whatever goods or services, right? So there's no real value on paper money or numbers in a bank account, which is why I want to hear from you now, Henry. Is like, what is your definition of money, and where do you place it in your priority list?
I define money as like a means to, like you said, it's a tool. It's a tool we utilize to get to places, to get things that most of the times we want, but also things we need. Like you said, I could have a $50 bill, and I could use that to fill up my car for gas, and like, yo, I need gas to get to places.
Yeah.
So I think that when I have that $50, it's invaluable because like, yo, I need gas to be able to get to places where I need to be, whereas like the gym or meetings or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the ranking for money within the big three, big four, I think, like you said before, and you alluded to, health is number one, relationships number two, your own self-interest is number three, and then money's fourth.
Oh,
Even though it's very hard, and I used to not look at it like that. I used to put like money above everything.
Yeah.
I used to think, bro.
I used to do that
You
too.
you see the because it's also like the hustler's mindset. Where like, yo, you have to get the bag by any means. You can get to the bag, but by any means really isn't necessarily a good thing. Because if you're doing some shady things, you're getting to the bag by like scamming people, or like doing things where you have to like put yourself in harm's way, put other people in harm's way. You're putting a damper, or you're putting them in a position where people have to be uncomfortable. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing, I believe. So I still think money is a good way. It's a good tool that you have to use, and it's a big staple that everybody has.
So then, because there is also a lot of negative connotation around money for let's say both, even those who understand and those who don't understand how really money works, right? Since there's so much negative connotation around money, I feel like there's so much, I don't want, hate's not the right word, but it's like people think money is greedy, money is dirty, or like whenever they look at someone, let's say who has a lot of money or wealth, they're like, how did they get this? Like, why can't that be me as well, right? So I also want to quickly discuss and talk a little bit about like, where do you think that negative connotation around money comes from? Because once again, like we both said, money is not, it has no value in it itself. It's an exchange of a median, right? You cannot base off your value off fluctuating numbers that necessarily means nothing if you don't use it.
It's ridiculous,
right?
Yeah.
With so many negative outlook or perspective towards money, where do you think that comes from, and how can people like shift their mindset to be like, hey, I'm not valuing myself off money. I know that money is just a means of exchange of a median. How can they start to perceive and implement that into their lives?
I think it mainly stems from the media. It's the content you consume. You will go on and you'll see. It's not even just the media. I'll get to that, but it's also like the economy, how things are structured. Things are structured in a way within an economy, within a society where you need money for things. You want to buy groceries, you need money. You want to buy a house, you need money. You want to buy a car, you need money. Like, and the thing is, like, you have that where you have to balance between the needs, the stuff you need money for, and then the wants, the stuff you want to have.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, with the hustler's mindset, that the media propaganda is shoved down your face, depending on who you follow within your social media platforms or within the news, where they strive for ways for you to get money quick, or they plaster money and put money on a pedestal. Like, once you have money, you are better than everybody else, when that's not the case. You may have more money than that person. You may have more possessions, but how you determine being better than someone else based on the amount of possessions you have, that's not the meaning of life. So it's like, you can obviously put money on a pedestal. You just can't have it be the end all be all where it's above everything else in your life. And if you don't have money, you don't have meaning. So once you find, and obviously it's easier said than done, being like, when people who have a significant amount of money being like, oh, money's nothing to me. Because when you're in that perspective where you have a lot of money, obviously it's going to seem like nothing to you because you've actually found those values and those other things. But when you don't have a lot of money, and even if you're still striving to get money, if once you realize and you put emphasis into other things, the journey towards the wealth, it'd be much easier because you're not so stressed and so hell-bent on getting money, even though it's a necessity, but it's not something that you put as the forefront.
It's just like having that scarcity mindset of, where's this money going to go, and where am I going to have the sufficient funds to fill up my car tomorrow, or get groceries for the week, or help pay for rent, right? So I also think that because the system, in a sense, well, this is just my opinion, doesn't work in our favor, I think the negative connotation around money stems from not having enough. And once they see people have enough, they're thinking to themselves, how did this person get this much? Why do they have this much when everyone else around them is, like, for example, struggling, or like not being able to pay for certain things, or not being able to go on a vacation because they cannot necessarily afford to, which is a totally different question now, because and now if we're talking about affords versus wants versus you can buy, those are three different things.
Yeah, literally.
Those are literally three different things.
Talk to people that don't know how to use a credit card. Those are three different things.
Those are literally three different things, right? You can buy something $50, fill up gas. I can buy it. I might not have the funds today, or I might have the funds today. I can buy it, but can I afford it? Is the bigger question, right? Now, affording is a different meaning, as in how I like to think about it is, can you spend this amount of money and still be comfortable after?
Yes.
Very good
point.
Let's say I'll buy a house. I'll put a down payment. It's all I have. I can buy it. Can I afford it?
No.
Next month, it's game over.
Like, you get the first, not even just the full rent and not the full first rent, but you see the utilities and the mortgage, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna be on the streets soon. I'm gonna be on the streets.
And that's the thing too. It's like, people don't understand that they think money, they only view money as the number, but they also don't view it as time and energy spent getting it, and as well as time and energy spent after spending it. Right? I'll give a quick example. You work a minimum wage job. You work, let's say, 40 hours, 9 to 5. You get a paycheck. I don't know how much that would be. Let me just put a number. Bi-weekly, 1,500 Canadian dollars. 1,500. You go out and buy, let's say, fancy clothes, going out to play, going out, spending expensive dinners, etc. Understand I'm not shaming you. I'm not saying anything. Like, don't do that. This is your life. But at the same time, I want you to understand that you spent that amount of time working, let's say 2 weeks of full time, 9 to 5, 40 hours a week, to spend this much amount of money on this. Do you think it was worth it? Understand that every single dollar has time and energy and effort put into it. I'll spend $100, but just know that $100 was me running around
6 hours,
running around the restaurant
McDonald's or
serving people
something,
for one day.
Yeah.
Right? So we also have to think about money is also just a store of value, as in you store and you exchange your time and energy for money, which I don't think a lot of people necessarily think about. And that's the scary thing. That's why I feel like so many people just spend, but they don't really think about. I just worked 40 hours last week and I got this much amount of money. It was hard work.
Yeah.
So do I really want to spend my hard work for this?
Yeah.
So I think it's just really valuing, once again, going back to affording wants and buys, can you afford it? Is it worth it even? And just be mindful of what you spend it on, right?
Being mindful of what you spend is a big thing, because like you said with the point, you're putting your time, your energy, your effort, even the things that you want to do, or you feel like you can splurge a little, you can take yourself out to eat or whatever, buy the nice clothes. It shouldn't be a reoccurring thing, because at the end of the day, whatever job you had that is established, eventually you want to get to a point where you're making money work for you. You're not working for the money.
You have to make sure it's sustainable.
You have to make sure it's sustainable. But it's not everybody has that luxury of making money work for you, or even understand
100%.
how to get there. And so right now they're working jobs where they're working for money. They're exchanging their time for money. Like you said, do you really want to be spending all the effort and the time you just put in at your job for something that you could blow through in mere minutes, hours, seconds? It's insane. To even put it into perspective, for people to not understand that, or not understand the concept of, like you said, oh, I can obviously buy it, but can I afford it? Can I afford to, let's say, if I blow through my entire paycheck, can I sustain my way of living for the next 2 weeks until I get my next paycheck?
And I think a majority of people are not even forward looking, as in sure, I'll spend it. I'll do this. I'll spend this amount of money. I work this amount of hours. But really, do you want to keep repeating that cycle? Do you want to keep doing what you're doing? Because the majority of people, number one, just work for their money, and they don't actually enjoy what they do.
Of course.
So another factor is do you might be able to afford it, but do you really, realistically, this is a mental and happiness factor now. It's just do you really want to keep doing this to afford this type of lifestyle? Right? And I feel like people as well they forget about that factor, and they just think about the money. For example, you make a lot of money, you're doing well, you can afford these fancy cars, vacations, clothes, luxuries, etc., going out. But do you actually like what you do? So then now there's a dynamic, and if we're going back to the scale or the ladder of importance of money, I feel like number one for me is health.
Yeah.
Because without health, you are nothing. You will spend your whole life's worth to fix your health at the end of the day.